Feinics Nation, what's up? It's your girl Jade Feinics here. We are back. We have been gone for quite a while, and unfortunately, we recorded a podcast. We did last week, and it got fucked up. Like, it got fucked up. The universe said yay to that podcast, so it's fine. We're fine. Everybody's fine. We're good. All right, we're good. Yay, we're back. All right. So, since that podcast didn't work, I have to inform you of a couple of changes that have happened here at the gate in the last couple of months since we've been bringing you our awesome premium content. And that is, we are now a trio. Yay! Everybody say hi. So I am now introducing the two new permanent voices of the gate. Lavender. Hello.
Hello, hello.
And Scarlett.
Suppose.
What's going on? What's going on? Ladies, babies, how you doing?
Doing good. Very excited to be part of the color wheel. We love a good color wheel,
Hashtag.
especially complementary colors.
That is our hashtag now. Hashtag the color wheel.
I'm doing, you know?
You're doing.
I'm going. It's all happening.
I'm loving it.
It's all happening. It's all like come to some fruition.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. We're loving it. But yeah, no, we're back, and we will be coming at you guys once a week, and we're just really happy to be here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Like, I'm happy.
Exactly.
I'm just happy to have friends that I could do stuff with, you know?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, seriously. Friends that aren't going to fuck each other over because they want their 10 minutes of fame. Like,
exactly. Like, this is making content with people I love and content that I love, and that's what's more important.
Yep. And the gate, being as it is the Feinics Gate, we talk about anything and everything that we want to talk about and stuff that you may or may not want to hear. This episode, it may be one of those episodes for you. So trigger warning now, if you are one of those people that, thinks that boundaries are the enemy, this podcast is not for you. Goodbye. Like, seriously. No, because we're gonna get. I can talk today. I'm so happy to see you guys. The words just keep tumbling out. But we're gonna be talking boundaries. We're talking healthy boundaries, unhealthy boundaries, ways to enforce them, why people should have healthy boundaries, and what happens when they do not.
Exactly, and especially support groups and surrounding yourself with the right type of people. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm going to say it right now. I almost let people step over one of my boundaries this past week. And my color wheel basically told me to stop being a pussy. And I needed to
Not
hear
in
it.
so many words, but we basically were like, cut your shit.
Yeah.
Enforce that boundary.
And I was like, respectfully, don't be a pussy.
Exactly.
Like,
and I needed to hear it.
You did.
I needed to hear
Yeah,
it.
you did.
Because my girls were like, sorry for being. I'm like, no. I needed you guys to be strict about this.
Yeah.
Because this is something, it's been a journey for me. I've been working on for the last year and a half. I was in a very abusive situation where I didn't let any boundaries be respected. I was basically letting myself be used as a doormat. And actually, thanks to Jade's suggestion, I started going to a trauma therapist specifically to help me really not only move past, and not move past in terms of, because the reality is it's all a healing process.
Exactly.
But getting through that trauma and finding very collaborative, positive ways to get through it. And, in that way, because we're all so close, that's why I need real friends who know I've been on this journey, be like, why are you copping out? Why are you just lying to give them an excuse, and it's just going to bite you in the ass by saying you're sick? Because they'll all come after you anyway. What's the point? Be direct, be straight, and if they don't want that, they're not meant to be your friends.
No, they're not. And the sucky part is unfortunately, we all have had experiences with people that do this. I've had people that do this. Hell, I've had partners on this podcast that did it. God. You, Scarlett, have had people do it to you constantly.
So many people
just do not freaking respect your freaking boundary.
Yeah.
And you've said it to them multiple times. Lavender has said it multiple times. Like, hey, listen, I can't have this. I can't be around this. And 99% of the time, the unhealthy people that will sit there and try to force themselves over your boundaries are the ones that'll literally sit there and tell you, well, why are you being like that? Like, well,
Exactly.
it's just this, it's just that. No, that is not okay. I can't abide by this. You need to understand this is not okay for me.
Exactly.
And they don't get it. And then like all of a sudden when you're a bitch, it's like, did I? What?
Like, yeah.
Surprise Pikachu face. Why are you shocked, bro?
Yeah, like,
But then again, I'm the one who usually gets dropped after stating and enforcing a boundary. And I'm like, peace.
Emotional damage.
And something we've all been talking about a lot recently is we've just been sitting here like, you know what? And I will say this to the gate. We've been all doing great.
Yeah.
We've all been in more positive places in our lives.
Yep.
And we're really starting to take stock of who are the positive people that we have in our lives. And as my mother always used to say to me, it's good to have 2 to 3 close friends and everybody else is acquaintances.
yep.
Yeah.
And it's just something that as we've been doing better, specific people who haven't respected those boundaries, we hear from them less and less. They don't want to reach out to us. And Mama Jade, you want to preach why that is?
Because we are not your entertainment. Sorry, not sorry. I mean, the Feinics Gate obviously is entertainment, but we as people are not your entertainment. And that's a lot of the big problem is because there was so much drama happening. There was so many things happening. It's also part of the reason why the gate was off air for quite a few months. You know, like, unfortunately, we let Lithy come back, and Lithy did not respect the boundaries that we had put up. And unfortunately, we had to say goodbye to her again. We had, when Chocobo Butt was our other voice, they, of course, did not respect certain boundaries, and they had to be let go. We, as a podcast, understand that we have gone through quite a lot of changes over the past couple of years alone. Voices come and go. Friends, unfortunately, also friendships ended, even though a lot of it was just business. And it sucks because we didn't want that to go that way. If the boundaries that we had expressed at the very beginning were just respected, none of this would have happened.
It would have had to happen that way.
It had to.
And the thing is especially when it comes to as you start building healthy boundaries, something that I like to reiterate is your true friends are going to see you through the lows and the highs.
Yep.
And we all went through some lows these past couple of years.
Yep.
And I think what speaks volumes is as we were going through those lows, we're not only encouraging each other, but we were being honest when we needed to work on something or a next step we should take.
The bitch slap of truth.
And I think the most important thing there is the color wheel has just seen each other through those lows. And then now that we're at these highs, we're supporting each other. We're happy to be here together. We're happy to continue in a very positive way.
Yep.
And in that, because we want to support each other, we will respect those boundaries. And that's what makes all the difference.
It really does. It does. I mean,
No, it's true. Like, and the other thing is though, like, we are also able to respectfully call each other out on our shit without, pushing or crossing a boundary.
yeah.
Like, it's, believe it or not.
And
guys,
if
it's
we
not hard.
did,
yeah,
we always let the other, we always
Exactly.
let you
yeah,
know.
we let
Like,
the other
hey,
know, and we communicate.
that was too far.
Yeah, and then like we communicate on like what went wrong, how we can avoid this in the future, or how we can like fix it.
Duh and or hello.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a strong believer it's as multiple human beings, you are going to disagree on things. Things aren't always
Absolutely.
going to go the way you want. You're not going to see things the same way. You're all going to have different boundaries. But what matters is you all talk and you reach out and you're like, you know what? The way that you were handling this was not effective for me. Can you do A, B, and C? Or can we work on D, E, F?
Yeah, like how many times, Lavender, how many times have I literally sat there and I said to you, cut your shit?
Oh, 100%.
Like, and how many times have both of you called me on my shit?
yeah,
Exactly.
Especially over the past year.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
What did he say?
if you have a meaningful relationship with somebody, you want to see them succeed.
Yeah.
So you're going to say to them, like, I'll never forget it, Jade. We were sitting in that Panda Express.
Yeah.
And you were like, girl, she was like, I know that therapy is good for you, obviously. You've gone through your struggles, but a trauma therapist
it's happening.
is the next step for you.
Yeah.
And if I didn't have you, like, jar me to that reality check, I don't think I would be in as good a place as I am now.
You never would have left your old job.
No, I wouldn't have, because I was not setting healthy boundaries. I was just going, oh, I'm getting paid, so it's okay that they abuse the shit out of me. And I had to have my friends be like, we don't like hearing how miserable you are all the time.
All the time.
That isn't like you.
No.
We know that's not like you.
You never came around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And whenever you did, it was always just bitch, misery.
And like, there is just such a change in you though, like since you switched jobs.
Yeah.
Like, you're just such a, like, just.
You're you again.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
You're you again.
You're you again. And it's like, what's up, baby? You know, like, we missed you.
Exactly. And that's a great example of like sticking through the lows and the highs.
Yeah.
But also being like, girl, you need to make a change.
Yeah, because
this
we-
is not serving you.
No.
And you are becoming lonely and upset.
And how many times did me and Scarlett literally sit there and be like, I can't deal with this today? Like,
Yeah.
even when you got to a point, like, as much as we loved you, we even enforced our own boundaries. We were just like, I don't have the energy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I love you. It's not because I want you to feel hurt. I know you need me right now, but I physically and mentally and emotionally do not have the bandwidth.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
I know I've had to tell you guys that like multiple
Yeah.
times. It's like, guys, I love you. I can't do this right now. I got too
Yeah.
much of my own shit going on. It's like, I bet we'll check back in
Right.
however long.
And I
And
think that's
we
a
never
cornerstone.
faulted you for that.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's a cornerstone of a healthy relationship.
Smashing.
Yep. It's true. It's true. I mean, because, okay, so we're talking boundaries. We're talking about our personal experiences with the three of us as a group with our own boundaries. But there are 6 different types of boundaries that are supposed to be recognized, expressed, and heard. So the number 1 of the list is intellectual boundaries. These are preferences related to how opinions, thoughts, and conversational topics are shared and handled. So, considering that grouping right there, the 3 of us have all extremely different viewpoints on a lot of things.
Yeah.
We agree on a lot of stuff, but we also have extremely different viewpoints on a lot of things too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
And that's just normal.
right, politically, I sit at a very different place than either of you,
Yeah.
you know, and you've never faulted me for it.
Never.
No, it's,
No.
you know, like your political views also come from like your lived experiences.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, if you hear yelling in the background, that is Cam and Diginan and our Javier, who are downstairs playing Wonder while we are upstairs enjoying ourselves.
I love Cam, but Jesus Christ, that boy is loud.
Jesus Christ.
And I love how I say that just as I hear Diginan in the background.
Yeah.
Genuinely, if you hear me just like giggling to myself, it's because I'm like half overhearing these conversations and they're all coming in static.
It's just amazing.
It's just,
No.
it's fantastic.
Exactly. And I think we did give an example of that intellectual boundary
We did.
where we were like, you know, how I was so upset about work and kind of just dumping it at points.
Yeah.
And an intellectual boundary was, hey, you know, we understand you're going through something, but we can't handle this right now.
Yeah, that actually goes into the second style of boundaries, and that is emotional.
Oh, yes.
Emotional boundaries are what, where, and how much a person shares with their emotional life, how your own and others' emotional needs are handled.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind, what we are saying here is I can tell Scarlett or Lavender, hey, this is going to piss me off if you talk about it and insist that I get involved in the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can choose whether I want to continue to participate in said conversation. But these two will never force me to participate in the conversation because they know it's going to piss me off because I expressed that boundary.
Exactly.
Right.
So,
And usually at that point, like if it's the 3 of us, we'll just change the topic.
Exactly.
yeah.
We'll move into something else. Or
Yeah.
we'll send more cat memes.
Yeah, or our ADHD will kick in and it'll just be like, oh my God.
Pikachu?
And just, that's it. Like, something will happen.
Moved on.
And it's fine. And again, it's not like I'll get mad that these two may go off on a sidebar conversation and continue what they were talking about. They're respecting my boundary where I said,
Right.
I can't handle that. Or
Yeah.
it's going to bother me. Please don't talk about it with me. I'm not sitting here censoring them which is what I want everybody listening to understand. We're not, when people express a boundary, we are not sitting there trying to tell you, no, don't do that or whatever. We're literally just saying, please don't do that around us.
Exactly. Everybody
like,
has
listen,
a different bandwidth.
And it's like, look, if you want to talk about that stuff, that's fine. Just don't do it around me or don't involve me in that conversation. It's like,
Right.
I bet. Won't do that from now on.
Right?
Sounds good.
Exactly.
Or it can be a, hey, I can't handle this right now. I'll come back to this
When I
tomorrow
have the
morning.
energy.
Or
Yeah.
I'll come back to this in a few hours. Because everybody has different bandwidth. You don't know, like, as much as we all love each other, we're not following each other around 24/7.
Damn!
We don't know what each of us is doing or how we're feeling all the time.
No.
Like, there's no way.
Of course. Like, unfortunately, we are not telepathic and we don't live each other's heads.
Well, sometimes.
Kinda.
Sometimes.
If I want food, y'all know.
Yeah, we know.
It's true. We feel the emotional connection, like, ticking. I'm like,
We can sit here and say we all know how the other one thinks and feels because we're around each other so much
Exactly.
that we know the patterns, we know
Yes.
the signs. But also at the same time, like there are times where as close as we are, we piss each other off.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
There are
That's
times we just, like, need a
unavoidable.
break from each other, and that's normal.
It happens.
Yeah, like, that's just normal with any friendship or relationship, no matter how close you are.
Healthy ones.
Well, yeah, healthy ones.
Emphasis on healthy ones.
I'm
going to
married.
say healthy ones.
What?
I'm literally married, and there are times I need a break from that man.
Hello.
Yeah. We all know.
Key example.
You're lying! No, I'm kidding. You're not. I know
know.
you're not. I know you're not. But that actually leads into the third style of boundary, and that is sexual boundaries. This is how sexual matters are talked about, when, where, and how sexual material is presented, and consent related to sexual or sexually suggested words, jokes, images, gestures, or touch.
Yeah.
Right.
Which those are, like, so important for any sort of, like, you know,
Any relationship.
any, you know, relationship, especially when sex is, I mean, obviously when sex is involved because it's a sexual boundary, but, you know, like, it is so important. And it's like having these conversations, it's, you know, it's healthy. And it's like, listen, you know, like, if we're going to keep, you know, if we're going to keep banging, I want to know what's going to be good for you or not be good for you. So that way we can, you know, like, I want you to be comfortable.
And then it also goes in where we're talking about our sexual experiences
Yeah.
and talking about, you know, certain sexually explicit things. Someone can sit there and say, I'm not comfortable talking about that because it's just not my thing.
Yeah.
And fine.
Not interested.
That's okay.
Exactly.
It's normal.
Exactly. Like one of my really close friends is Ace. And they know, and they've expressed to me, you know, I don't really want to talk about anything sexual, or I don't feel comfortable watching very sexually explicit content. Like, for example, we're going to watch Sense8. And I was like, I know this is your boundary and this is how you feel. So let's skip the first episode specifically. And we'll
Right.
just go over the details of it.
Mighty need!
Like, it's totally okay. And on the flip side, there's also, if someone does entrust you with information about your sex life and you're just
Or
talking
your
to
partner.
them, or your
Yeah.
partner, this also should be an implied boundary that this is between you and this other person.
Oh, it's also expressed multiple times where, hey, this is between you and me.
Exactly. This is
Yeah.
the Sex in the City round table kind of thing.
Yeah, because there are
Right.
things that the three of us have spoken about in
yeah.
private that we would never discuss with our partners.
Oh, exactly.
Nope. Little blue pills. Like, you might need them. Just saying.
What?
I gotta get my digs in somehow.
May I speak now?
Oh, no, I respect it.
may. I
Listen,
respect.
I will just forever be blessed with the knowledge that I am married to an above average man. And he's okay with me saying that.
We love that.
We love this for you.
Yeah.
We do. And that actually brings us into boundary style number 4. Time boundaries. How you relate to your own and others' time, and how time-related needs and preferences are handled.
Yes.
Now, this is good because I don't have a 9 to 5 the way both of you do.
Yeah.
And while your 9 to 5, Lavender, is very different than Scarlett's 9 to 5,
Yeah.
it's still a 9 to 5.
Exactly.
Right.
And during the workday, I have a tendency to, I'll flood the chat sometimes with unnecessary shit or just talking out my ass or whatever. And I will respect the fact that while I do enjoy the instant gratification of you guys responding right away, unless it's something like super urgent and I let you guys know it's super urgent and you give me your full attention.
Yeah.
I'm okay with you not getting back to me right away. Why? Yeah. Because I understand your time.
Right. And
I respect it.
Yeah. And it's like, you know, my job is luckily like they're cool with me like being on my phone here and there and like texting when I can. But also it's like there are times I'm like, all right, I take a peek and I'm like, all right, there's a lot going on here. I cannot devote, you know, the time and attention to this right now in the middle of my work day. And I'll either pop in and be like, all right, I'll catch up later. Or sometimes I just don't.
Well, you say later on, you're like, hey, I was doing A, B, and C. I'm catching up with the chat now.
Exactly.
So you do technically do that.
Yeah.
You do let us know.
Frame.
Yeah, I'll be like, hey, sorry, I was working, busy day. But then also when I have days, you know, when I have days where it's not busy or, you know, like I'm able to step out for a little while. Oh my God, the cats are amazing. Sorry. The
podcast cats.
The kitty casts or the
kitty casters.
Cast kitties. I don't know. We're title in progress.
Yeah, we're working on that. But
yeah, you know, like when I have slow days, I'm able to be like, all right, listen, it's a slow day. I can, you know, engage. I can engage more, you know.
Again, healthy boundary, you know, and it's the same thing where you guys understand where when I'm off doing, you know, what I do, or if I'm vending, you know, or if I'm recording something somewhere, like doing an interview or something, you guys don't bother me.
No.
And then, like, I'll literally just sit there and be like, hey, sorry about that. This is what I was doing.
Exactly.
Like, you're respecting my time. I'm respecting your time. I'm also respecting the fact that, like, you know, you may just not want to deal with me today. That's fine. I can be a lot. I get that.
I mean, I think all three of us can be a lot. Agreed.
Yeah, there are days where sometimes, I'm not going to lie, there are days where sometimes I'll pick up the chat, I'll read through it, and I'll just be like,
can't do this right now.
I don't want to.
Oh, yeah, no. There are times I'll, like, I'm an asshole. I'll just look at my notifications. I'll be like, all right, this just seems like a lot, so I'm dealing with that later.
And that's fair. It's like, y'all respect that I sleep like an old lady. I'm in bed by, like, 8 o'clock now. Because now that I get off at, like, a normal time, I, like, go to the gym, like, 5 to 6, or I work out at home 5 to 6.
Yeah.
And then I go in the shower, and then I make dinner by 7:30, and then my social battery is out by then.
Done.
And it's so funny because I think once you guys had reached out and were like, hey, are you doing anything? I'm like, I'm in my pajamas. And y'all were like, no problem. A-okay.
Yep. And that comes to boundary style number 5, material boundaries, the treatment of possessions and property. Preferences and needs regarding possessions and property, and how possessions and property are shared.
Yeah.
So, like, example, the podcast equipment, they belong to me. You know, like, Jade Feinics is the one that basically this is all my stuff, but I share it with you guys, like, because we are a team. You know, and also, like, I open up my home, I feed you, you know, on days that we're doing recording, you know, or we just hang out and enjoy each other's company.
Yeah.
You've opened up your home to us multiple times. Like,
my home will be
your
open
home
soon.
will be open soon. Once we get rid of the interloper, it's fine. You know, but it's like, we share what we share when we can share, but we're also very clear on what's no-go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I can't share clothing with you because I'm bigger than both of you. But doesn't mean I don't share my makeup.
Exactly. Or, like, you know.
Sanitized makeup because I have a makeup artist background, and I'm just like,
we do sanitize it. We don't.
Yes, we do. We do. No,
there are only certain pieces of makeup that I will share, like eyeshadow.
Yeah.
You know, but you don't get my lipstick.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Like, no.
Bullet lipsticks you can properly sanitize and like share,
but not the one.
Not liquid. But yeah, anything powder you can just literally spray down with alcohol.
Yeah.
And it'll be fine.
Look at that knowledge. Look at
that like info dump of makeup.
Yeah. But no,
like I'll give you another example of a material boundary from literally yesterday. Like my husband and I, we were doing laundry, and I have a very like strict, like, I don't like when people touch my shit. That includes my clothes. So like I would never go to a laundromat and like drop it off and let someone do it. But I'm also like, you know, I'm finally like, all right, babe, you can like put my stuff in the bag, but I'm the only one who gets to touch and fold my stuff.
Same.
If you want to fold your stuff, however the fuck you want, go for it. But I am very particular in how I like it, you know, handled and folded and put away. So just let me do that.
Right.
And it's also like, something I kind of like noticed with a lot of these boundaries. It's not even like a strict, like I'm setting this specific boundary with you. Like I cannot text during my 9 to 5. It's just kind of like, I don't want to say it's implied, but
Some of them are.
some of them are implied. It's like implied, and I don't want to say it's common sense, but it kind of is.
Some of it is.
But common sense is a superpower.
It's true.
It is these days.
It's a superpower that so many people don't have.
Yeah.
Go, common sense. It's an actual fucking thing.
Common sense.
It's true. Go, common sense now.
Yes.
It's true.
So real.
Seriously.
And it's true. Like a good example of how boundaries of mine in this area were broken and should be considered common sense.
Yep.
When I was in a very abusive living situation, I didn't think I would need to lock my bedroom door. But I had started realizing that things were going missing in my room. Things like printer ink, paper, little things to big things, books, things that belong to me. And then the moment that I locked that door, I was met with vitriol. How dare you lock your own bedroom door? I was like, well, it's my bedroom door.
What?
I pay to live here.
What?
I can do what I would like, and you've been using possessions of mine that I'm not comfortable with.
What?
It got to the point that even before I fully moved out, I had my mom take all of my records because I had some weird feelings about them touching them and moving things around.
God damn!
One of which went missing. And I was like, this is strange. And I had specifically very old records in that collection. I'm a huge vinyl nerd. And I have first prints of a lot of stuff.
You do.
Including things that my grandpa had given to me in his will when he passed away. So I gave it to my parents and they took it home because I was already thinking about moving out. I knew I wasn't in a healthy environment at least. And the next thing that happened was screaming and crying and trying to get other people involved, claiming that I was, taking things and just disappearing. And one of my friends actually said to them on the phone, but that's Kayla's stuff. You allowed for you guys to have it in the common area, but that is Lavender's things.
Yeah.
Those things do not belong to you. Why?
Nani?
Why does it matter to you that they're missing? And that's kind of like a big red flag. If somebody
Huge.
that you're inhabiting a space with thinks that they can just take things, use things. And yeah, sometimes when things are in a common space, it's okay. But I had set a very clear boundary, like, these are my records. Please don't, like a lot of them are very old. Can you please not touch them or move them around? Like, I have no problem putting them on if you want to listen to them, but they're very fragile.
Yeah.
Right.
And, as soon as someone starts assuming that everything that's yours is theirs,
It's called a hustle, sweetheart.
it's a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Like, prime example, today. You guys know you have carte blanche whenever you come here to just go in my fridge if you wanted to. But you still ask for permission.
Right. It's just the respectful
just
thing
respect.
to do.
It's
And,
just
it's
respect.
respect, and it's, again, common sense.
You'd think.
You think, right?
But this brings us to boundary style number 6, physical boundaries.
Big
The
one.
physical body, personal space as experiences through your senses, preferences for respect, privacy, closeness, and touch.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yes.
such a big one.
Yep.
That is huge.
See me, I'm very weird when it comes to touch. You guys have carte blanche. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
Other people don't fucking touch me. I'll kill you. I will hurt. I will physically rip your hand from my body. I've done it. And it's only because I have a very strange aversion to people touching me. It's an energy transference thing for me. I don't like it. The biggest form of do not touch unless I say okay, don't touch my hair.
Yeah.
I have such a thing about people touching my hair. Even if it's just to like pet me or you want to see if I'm wearing a wig or whatever, don't fucking touch my hair. I have
exactly.
the biggest it's like, hey, yeah, You
I
know,
just feel like that's such a like intimate thing too, like with someone like touching your hair. Like
it is.
Like my husband will sit there and like, you know, like touch my hair, like, you know, kind of pet my hair sometimes, like give me head pats. But that's my husband, and this is like, you know, just like a thing that I have told him, like, hey, I enjoy when you do this. So like pop off. But like,
no,
you know, if someone else like, you know, tried to touch my hair, I'd be like, get the fuck away from me before I rip your hand off.
Right. I mean, and yes, I understand that could be very specific. People are like, oh, well, everybody shouldn't be touching their hair anyway. Dude, I'm like that even with my hairstylist.
Valid though.
Like,
valid though.
You know, like only 2 people are allowed to touch my hair in a professional way, and one of them is Humby.
Yes.
So, like, he's the only one, and the only other person that's allowed to do it are people that work at 1-900-BLEACH-ME. Plug. So, if you guys like my hair and you've seen all how I look on the socials, go to 1-900-BLEACH-ME and get your hair done with Humby. And let them know Jade sent you, because so I can get some discounts and you get a discount too. End of commercial. Woo-hoo.
It's called a hustle, sweetheart.
That's right. But that is a personal boundary for me. But see, the other on the other side of the spectrum, I'm a hugger. Like, if I trust you and I know you and I want to, like, I'll cuddle puddle.
Yes.
I'm like a cuddler. If I know you and I'm comfortable with you, like, I don't mind, and I'll just be like, pet me. You know, kind of a deal, like, because I'm a big fucking cat. So, but, like, that's what I mean. Like, if that's a form of my physical boundaries. Like, what about you, Scarlett? Like, what are yours?
Like, I honestly, like, for most people, I'm like, ew, don't touch me. Just in general. I'm like, don't fucking do it. Don't put your hand around my waist. Don't, like, touch my shoulder. Don't try to give me a hug unless you're, like, one of the people on the approved list.
Yeah, exactly.
But, there's also just experiences I have had that have made me very touch averse. So,
Oh, yeah, that one.
yeah. So it's like, just
Same.
no touchy. No touchy.
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck what I'm wearing or what I'm doing. No touchy.
basically.
Like hugs, like and the other thing is like even like hugs. It's like, just ask me first. Like if I like you enough, I'll probably say yes. But like, you know, I mean, obviously like you too. It's like, but I feel like we could also like tell when like someone's going in for a hug. Like
Well,
with
yeah,
us.
but also you ask.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing. I'm very much am an asker.
As soon as you came up, you're like, hug? I'm like, yes, come here. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like but like I'm very much like an asker with stuff like that, because I'd rather take, you know, like 3 seconds to ask if it's cool than like make someone uncomfortable even by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Valid. What about you, Lavender?
So, like, I think this kind of comes into the physical space as well. But one, I get very nervous if I can't see the person that's touching me. And that's actually something I've had to talk to my partner about, because, you know, they try to be cute and go and, like, you know, pinch my sides, or, you know, when we're at the bar.
Yeah.
But I am a very fight or flight person. So my automatic reaction, and this stays in the gate, I did accidentally, when I was like 16, take my purse that had a very heavy book in it and smack a New York City mascot character in the face, and the person fell down.
Oops.
Good.
And that had to do with they had come up behind me and screamed behind me. I don't know why they did it. I don't know why they found it funny.
It's not
but
funny.
I literally like knocked this person over, and my cousin was like, all right, time for us to head out.
Like, we need to leave now.
But like, I always try to explain that to my boyfriend. I'm like, just make sure I can see you from the corner of my eye. Because as long as I can see you, it's okay. And if I know that you're someone familiar, it's fine. But I do have very severe anxiety, and I suffer from very severe anxiety. And so the idea of somebody I don't know touching me is just like, no, I get so like paralyzed. And for me too, I think a big physical boundary is, especially if I've expressed that someone makes me uncomfortable, I don't want them physically near me. And this is another example of my boyfriend did listen to this, because there was somebody that I was uncomfortable with, and there's no way this person didn't know this.
They knew.
They knew. They hadn't approached me since a specific event. They knew I was uncomfortable, and then all of a sudden,
And it's not like you were not vocal
and
about
I wasn't.
it.
I was very vocal about it, and then all of a sudden, this person came right up to me, got in my face, and basically was like trauma dumping everything that went on with their life.
Little pig.
And I was like, one,
Let
I don't
me in.
have that relationship with you anymore. Two, why are you so close to me? Like, my boyfriend had to get up and physically put himself in the middle because he could tell I was getting upset and I was getting uncomfortable. And it's so funny because if you ever see, like, not that anyone outside of the gate would see it, but if you see that photo from when I had to have this experience with this person, I looked so uncomfortable and miserable.
I literally, both Scarlett and I were just like, you good? You need us to come over there right now?
We were literally gonna like drive back from fucking Maryland.
Yeah.
To like,
because there's very much a face I make when I'm very uncomfortable, and it was very clear in this photo.
Extremely.
Like, I literally look like so miserable.
You do.
Like, as much as I think
Emotional
I
damage.
can put on like a good face, I can read like a book when it comes to like things
If we
physically.
know you well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for people that know me well, they automatically saw that photo and were like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And that's like a great example of like, if you need a physical boundary between you and another person, that other person should never be thrusted on top of you. And it,
Especially without warning.
Especially
Like,
without warning.
Because like I like you're what you were saying reminded me of an experience that I had with the same person, but it was events of a friend of mine and my husband. Not gonna name drop. I don't want to blow up his spot, but he's a good dude. If you're listening to it, you know who you are.
Yes.
Love you, bro.
Yes.
But
We
like,
adore them.
yeah, and it's just like, and like first he was having a house, like it was like a birthday party at his house, and he's like, look, I'm gonna be real. There's a chance this guy might come. Just please, I don't want any like beef. If you guys need to like, whatever you gotta do, just don't fight in my backyard.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I got you. And I think at one point, because like I was drunk. It was also first day of the Doom. So I'm like,
Fair though.
and I'm just like, hey, bro, can I play? Exactly. And this man thing was just fucking like, whenever he got too close, I was literally just like, I just looked at this dude and he knew. And I was like, hey, bro, can I play on your Switch? And he's like, here you go. So I literally could just play on his Switch and ignore this man. And then like later on at, like our friend's wedding, again, it was similar things like, look, you guys aren't sitting near each other. There's you guys, no need to like interact. And he also like trusts me enough to like not start shit, even though I wanted to, but I was good.
Good for you. Anyway.
Yeah. Let's not. Yeah.
Just, it's good for you.
Hey, listen, I'm not the one who Emo Parker danced into the wedding reception. That was my husband. Yeah. Anyway. But, like...
Da, 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 da.
Yeah, like, it was... I feel like it was kind of a mutual thing. Like, I also, like, made a point to, like, physically not be present around this man. May have made a tiny bit of a scene because the photographer came around and I'm just like, I am within 6 feet of this person. I will not be in this photo. And it's like, oh, but come back. And I'm like, no, my husband's over there. I need to go bother him about something. It's like, no. I'm like, no, I'm leaving.
And that is a healthy fucking boundary.
But like, let me tell you though, that boundary goes both ways. Because, my friend's boundary is like, hey, please don't like start a fist fight in my house or at my wedding. And I'm like, cool, don't force me to interact with this person. And
they didn't.
Yeah. Like, also, we were like, there was space. There was ample space to not interact.
Yeah.
But also, he don't fuck with that dude anymore. So now it's like, all right, bro, I was respectful for your sake, but now it's on site. And he's like, bet.
Done. But like, again, I have also had an experience, several, with this fucking human interpretation of herpes. And it's fine. It's not fine. I have expressed for a while now. It's been 1.5 years since I've had to have a last interaction with this fucking walking, talking pile of piss garbage. Okay? And that boundary's been respected for me to an extent. Now that they have reared their ugly head, and obviously these experiences have been happening a little bit more frequently for our comfortability factor, this boundary has been disrespected in ways because now I have said on multiple occasions, just don't bring him up to me. Don't talk about him to me. I don't want to see him. I don't want to know him. I don't want anything about him. Fuck him. And again, you two with your experiences don't bother me. It's everybody else that hasn't been respecting that boundary. Where it's like, And then on top of it, they're like sitting there going, oh, well, it's fine. It's not fucking fine.
Right.
We're telling you we don't want anything to do with this human garbage.
And it's insane to me because you can say so many times, hey, I'm willing to still remain a friend. I want to still have you in my life. Just please don't cross these certain things. And it's constantly crossed.
It is.
And I also like want to like specify a little bit, like there's a difference between like, you know, bringing up a certain person or like someone's past to like kind of like get the tea or like, you know, because you want to know like you want to know the juicy tea and the drama versus like multiple people who have had experiences with said person like talking about it and venting and letting out those feelings in a healthy way.
Right. And that brings me to 7 tips for setting healthy boundaries.
Hell yeah.
Tip number 1. Start your day with limit setting intentions. Know from the start what you are capable of taking on.
Exactly.
So like again, this goes back to how we were talking about sometimes we wake up and we look at our group chats and we're just like, nope, that is right there.
Exactly.
That's how you know. You know, tip number 2, acknowledge what you gain by setting boundaries. This allows you to recenter and remain committed even when things are going to get tough. Like
exactly.
Peace of mind.
Your
situation
where it's like you've literally sat there and said, okay, what am I going to lose by enforcing my boundary? Where you should be changing the vernacular to what am I going to gain?
Exactly.
Yeah.
By enforcing these boundaries.
Because nobody that, in my opinion at least, nobody that really cares about you is going to keep constantly pushing these boundaries.
Nope.
If anything, they'll always be respectful of them. And if they don't understand them, they will look to understand.
Or they'll ask for fucking clarity.
For clarification. They don't just go, let me see how far I can push this. And I was getting to a point that just because I had some forms of bonds with these people that I was like, oh, I need to lie and say that I'm just sick. And it's like, no, I need to own up to my boundary. I need to speak to everyone individually because there are some people involved that didn't know this boundary and weren't involved.
Right.
And it's one of those things that it's like, no, I'm honoring myself more by not putting myself in this situation. I am honoring myself more by saying, hey, this is why I'm removing myself from you because I have said this 1 time, 2 times, 1,000,000 times.
And this brings me to tip number 3 because you literally just defined it is number 3, define your priorities. Get clear on what you need, what you want, and what would be nice to have. Because I fully am aware of the fact that just because I set a boundary doesn't mean it's going to be respected.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, but I'm also fully aware of my reaction to that boundary not being respected or that boundary being respected, which means in time, I may change the boundary that I have because I see that you're respecting it.
Exactly.
You know, so that also will bring to tip number 4, communicate directly, clearly, and often.
Yes.
Which is telling people about your boundaries is your responsibility.
Exactly.
Which is what we tried to tell Lavender, Scarlett and I with our bitch slap of the truth. To your freaking head where it's like, no, you can't sit there and just assume these people know. Treat them as if they're
like they're toddlers.
I know, like I literally was like, listen, we're dealing with emotionally immature people. You need to treat them like children.
Yep.
But that's also my toxic trait, just assuming everyone is stupid because they are. But anyway,
well, you're not wrong though. Brings us to number 5, which is pay attention to your needs. And that is the feelings of discomfort, overwhelm, or resentment are often indicators that we've overreached a boundary.
Yeah, I can say 100%, like with this recent boundary push, for months, I was talking to my therapist and I was like, you know, I'm feeling really weird about this situation constantly, me being put constantly in the situation. And I feel like the more time they spend with this person that makes me uncomfortable, I feel like they're talking about me behind my back. Or I feel like I'm purposely being left out of things. Like I feel uncomfortable now around these people.
Yep.
Yeah.
And if that's something that you are asking yourself for almost a month, and even, granted, I have a therapist, not everybody does, but if you're having this internal battle where you're saying, I feel like I need to let these people go, I don't know when, but it's going to need to happen.
Nope.
It just means that your boundary was never being respected, no matter how much you were communicating. And you can't save everyone. You just can't. And I know here at the color wheel, i.e. the gate, we're all very empathetic people.
Yep.
And that's
Yeah.
part of the reason we've been able to see each other through our highs and lows.
And also why we give people way too many chances.
Exactly.
And like,
Oh,
So-
bitch.
Sorry, I just love everything Matt Groening. Matt Groening, shout out, I love you.
But this also comes to tip number 6.
Exactly.
Start with small adjustments. Committing to and following through with a small boundary changes, builds your confidence, and to make harder decisions in the future, it makes it a little easier
Exactly.
to really enforce a bigger boundary. You're starting to do that. You're a prime example of it.
yeah.
You know? And that comes to tip number 7, practice self-compassion. You don't when you don't follow through with a boundary you set, you be kind to yourself instead of judging yourself. You know,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what we're trying to help you, because you were being like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and we're like, stop it.
What did he say?
Enough. You're gonna be fine, because admittedly, you said it yourself. It triggered you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I've had the trauma with my previous abuser where something like that was constantly triggering me. And I got into a point where I was almost like, maybe I'm oversensitive. Maybe I'm overreading things.
But you're not.
But I wasn't. And it was something that I had to step back and be like, just because I was abused in a certain way does not mean that I need to have this fear of setting my boundary.
Nope.
Because I was so convinced if I said it, you know, everyone's going to talk shit about me on the internet. They're going to do this. And
Oh, who cares?
exactly.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Please,
you
people
know,
talk about us on the internet all the time.
Exactly.
It's
I don't
like,
care.
so
I
let 'em-
had to learn because, you know, for a long time, that was something I had to rebuild. I was, as you guys know, I didn't use Instagram for a long time.
Nope.
Yeah.
I deleted everything.
Yup.
I haven't even made it back to feeling comfortable on TikTok.
Nope.
I only just started posting on Facebook again. Like, it was a very traumatic event. And I kind of had to not only get that bitch slap of truth, but then step back and be like, well, all of these supposed people that are crossing this boundary know this. They know this information, and they are still
Not respecting
pushing and pushing and pushing. It's like, and I had to sit there and be like, well, what if they were pushing my ex-abuser on me? How else would I feel? Like, this is the
Right.
same type of situation. They're trying to push somebody that was not only disrespectful to me, but disrespectful to people I really care about, which is why I didn't want to be around this person in the first place. And, you know, I don't want to be like, you know, like chicken and the egg scenario. They're not the same thing. But I had to really sit there and be like, well, what if it was my abuser they were doing this with? And I've had people that tried to do that with my abuser, and I had to just very politely be like, okay, then you're not my friend anymore. I had to step away from friendships where I had known somebody through my childhood. And I had to be like, I'm sorry, I need to go no contact with you, because if I express a boundary to you and your automatic thing is, but I'm sure they didn't mean it, when
like,
you
get the fuck outta
weren't
here.
involved in any of that situation, and you weren't living my life and experiencing these experiences,
Exactly.
it was the same thing. And I really need to stop and be like, no, it's not the fear, because there should be no repercussion if I'm setting a healthy boundary.
Squirtle.
And if there is a repercussion, they're like my ex-abuser and they're little cronies. They don't
Flying
care about
monkeys.
me.
Yes.
The flying
It's like
monkeys.
Flying monkeys.
Flying
They don't
monkeys.
care about me, so why should I care about what they have to say?
Yeah.
I've moved into, I always joke around, I know I'm the only Taylor Swift person here. But I'm always like, this is my reputation era. Don't make me your villain. I don't care anymore. I've been hurt so bad at this point that I'm like, you know what? Whatever you say in retaliation to what I'm going to tell you, it'll never hurt as bad as that.
I like
Yeah.
your funny
That is so
words,
valid.
Magic Man.
It's true.
Yeah.
I mean, and this brings us to what the benefits of setting healthy boundaries are. The benefits of setting healthy boundaries are actually you get more compassion for yourself and for others. You have a greater assertiveness. Your needs are met. Less anger and resentment towards yourself and other people. Feeling of peace and safety. Time and energy to do things that will nourish and bring joy to your body, mind, and spirit. You feeling respected by yourself and others. Less conflict in all of your relationships. Improved communication. Greater self-esteem. Less anxiety and stress. increased confidence and feeling understood and accepted by family and friends. Yeah. And other signs of a healthy boundary being enforced are the fact that you have them. Because let's call a spade here. We will get into the fact that there are unhealthy boundaries.
100%.
Signs of healthy boundaries are you don't feel guilty about saying no. You don't let others abuse or exploit you. You can hold your ground when pressured. You're not offended by other people's boundaries. You do not feel responsible for other adults. You don't take personally other people's criticism. You take responsibility for your triggers. You respect other people's boundaries. You value your rights and feelings. And you don't need others to agree with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like now when I was like, I needed the bitch slap of truth. But being like, once I sat there, I was like, how much, like, I wasn't as upset as I thought I would be when I came to the conclusion that I was like, you know what? I just got to step away from this. I got to be clear and step away.
Yep.
I really thought I would be more upset, but I'm not. If anything, I feel more like I'm honoring myself and the person I am in this moment and who I want to continue to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that brings me to the unhealthy boundary conversation, because here are 10 signs that you lack boundaries.
Shout out to Jonah Hill.
No!
Sorry, guys. I am not a Jonah Hill stan. He is the key example.
Yeah. Shout out to my liver and all the alcohol that I drank when I didn't know what boundaries were.
Oh, God.
I could get into that.
About it.
I could get into that because I literally, like, when I didn't know how to properly set and, like, maintain boundaries, I literally, like, would go to places where I knew someone or someone that, where I knew someone that, like, I was not on good terms with and was, like, not
You would
quite
deliberately
on
go and try to start something.
Everyone thought I would. Here's the thing. I just mirror what I'm given.
You do. You're the mirror person, but you would still fuck him up.
Yeah, I would fuck him up. So then I was like, I'm just gonna drink, smoke, or whatever the fuck you got, just gimme. Mm-hmm. And that was not healthy. And like, it got to a point where my partner was like, babe, I love you. Sorry. But like, you can't keep getting messy drunk like this and blacking out and yelling at people.
No.
Because I did that.
It all comes out in another way.
It's true.
Yeah. She deserved it still, but not my fighter moment.
No.
Bad moment.
I've done it.
Yeah.
We've all done it.
We've all done it.
So
Yes,
here
we
are 10
have.
signs that you lack boundaries. You fail to speak up when mistreated.
That was a big one I had to learn.
I had that one problem too because of Shrek.
100%.
Yep. You give away too much of your time.
Oh,
Oh,
yes. I
yeah.
think we're all guilty of that.
You agree when you actually feel like disagreeing.
I know.
I've definitely
I
done
am
that.
like
It's
that.
like you agree just to keep the peace, but then it's like, wait a
Exactly.
minute, but why should I sacrifice my peace of mind for whatever fake peace we have here?
Yup.
That's why the color wheel had to bitch slap me, because they were like, you are just people pleasing by just saying you're not going because you're not feeling well or A, B, and C, because then the next time, if you agree to go out with them, they'll just fucking do it again.
It's true.
Sorry, my ADHD brain is just like, oh my god, you had Mortal Kombat this whole time.
Yes, I do.
I love it.
I love it.
I love Scorpion.
Yeah, but then you also, another big thing that I know all of us actually experienced this was before we actually started being healthier.
Yes.
You feel guilty for dedicating time to yourself.
Oh my
yes.
god, that was such a big one.
How many times did we literally sit there and be like, I'm so sorry, I'm taking a mental health day? And then we would be afraid. We were afraid of how, even because we didn't understand that it was a healthy boundary,
Right.
we were afraid of how the others would react.
Exactly. We thought they would be mad at us or upset with us. And I think that's just a sign of a very positive relationship in your life that, you'll have these negative experiences where that was met with some vitriol. Yep. But once you find your people and your tribe, so to say, you really start to learn that anyone that cares about you isn't going to sit there and yell at you as long as you're honest and as long as you're direct.
Yeah.
Yep, and this is where, number 5, you feel taken for granted by others. Oh, and you have toxic relationships.
I mean,
Oh
I'm
my God.
getting out of one as we speak. I mean, this
You're
is
getting
a
out of
pattern.
several.
Yeah, this was a pattern that the color wheel has been like, hey, we saw it here. You gave them a chance. We saw it again.
Time to go.
Time to go.
It's like, yeet.
Because it's true, because a pattern is a pattern for a reason. And there are people who will work to change those patterns.
Oh, you mean like how number 7 is you have chronic fear about what others think about you?
All the time.
Or hey, number 8, you overshare details of your life with other people.
Yeah.
Or you constantly feel like the victim, or you attract people who will try to control or dominate you.
Exactly.
Oh, I
And-
know so many people with that victim mentality.
So many.
And I know especially that I can speak to this. I don't feel bad speaking to this.
Nor
the
should
reality
you.
is because I let people walk. I let one specific person, my abuser, walk all over me since I was in high school.
Yep.
For over a decade.
Yep.
That
Hi, Georgie.
I thought that was a normal thing.
Nope.
I thought that's how I should have been treated.
Nope.
And once you step away from that,
The audacity!
you,
The
you-
unmitigated gall!
wait a minute.
Yep.
And that was something I always say, like, I am so grateful that I now have true friends in my life, because having people like everyone here in the color wheel made me realize that, no, you're not supposed to be treated that way.
No, you guys have helped me do that too with my previous partner.
Yeah, and it's like, I feel like sometimes it's like on both ends of it, right? Where like you have to tell someone like, honey, no, that's not normal.
No.
Exactly.
But then also being on the receiving end, it's like, the fuck you mean that's not normal though? That's how it's always been. It's like, honey, no.
no.
And that's why, as a result of unhealthy boundaries, you may do these actions. Loan money to people when you don't have it to give. You may offer advice when it wasn't requested. You may do things that you don't like to do.
Yep.
You're very codependent. Complain about how others mistreat you. Not have any time for yourself. You give people several chances to hurt you.
Yeah, I'm very guilty of that one.
Tell people more than you're comfortable sharing.
Yup.
Feel resentful because you are overwhelmed. Allow others to say things to you without speaking up for yourself. Or be frustrated by others whenever they request your support. These are all signs of unhealthy boundaries.
Yeah, and these
Right.
are all
And it's,
signs
like,
that
so
you
real.
need to stop and really take stock. And you know, we're all victim to not fully understanding how to set a healthy boundary.
Because that is a reason why we struggle with setting boundaries. It is a fear of being rejected or abandoned, resistance to being, we're not taught to prioritize others as much as we are taught to prioritize ourselves. We don't know how to communicate our boundaries clearly. Feelings of guilt or obligation, a lack of self-worth, awareness, self-awareness, or knowing your own needs.
Agreed.
Yeah.
This
Especially-
is how why people will struggle with setting these boundaries.
especially for femme presenting people. I feel like
Oh, yeah. I was literally just thinking of that.
Yeah,
Like, it
right?
is-
The brain cell
the
was
brain cell was split.
passing. But why
Yeah.
don't you tell us, Scarlett?
Okay.
Yeah, please.
But you know, it's like definitely like, as you know, like female and like femme presenting people, it is a very like you're very much taught to like prioritize others' needs, especially like your partner's needs before your own. And you know, it's like you're made out to be selfish and just like such a self-centered, horrible person because you want to like prioritize yourself for once, or like put your own needs first. And it's like, you know, especially like in a romantic or sexual relationship, you want to like be able to tell your partner like, look, I just need a little like me time right now. I need, you know, like whatever, like I love you and I know you're dealing with shit, but like I can't right now. And you need to be able to like tell them, and you know, they also need to be able to respect it.
Melody Beatty said, "We cannot simultaneously set a boundary and take care of another person's feelings.
Yep.
Can't do it. Like, you just can't. You can be respectful of that other person's feelings. You can acknowledge that other person's feelings. But when you're setting that boundary, that is the boundary.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, those feelings end up becoming a bullet point on
Right.
it. You know, like,
And a lot of people will kind of like weaponize those feelings about like against you and like about that boundary. It's like, oh, but like, you know, why would you do that? That's so hurtful to me.
Right.
It's like, okay, but you also like disrespecting my boundary is hurtful to me, especially when
Exactly.
I've set this boundary multiple times and explained to you why you crossing this boundary hurts me. It's like, I'm sorry, but I need to, you know, do what I have to do for my own peace.
yep. Boundaries are not about telling other people what they can and cannot do, as I said earlier.
Shout out Jonah Hill.
Boundaries are about telling people what you will and will not accept.
Exactly.
That's it.
Please do not weaponize therapy language. Please and thanks.
Yes.
What's this? What's this?
Don't do that. Like, I set boundaries not to offend you, but to respect myself. Like,
Correct.
And that is something we, the Color Wheel, have struggled with for years. It's taken therapy, experience, and our own support system with each other. It took us fucking years to get to this point where we can feel comfortable sitting down and talking to each other about our boundaries, talking to the rest of you, the great Phoenix Nation out there who are listening, about boundaries, what makes them healthy, what doesn't make them healthy, our experiences with them, what you should be doing. And this is, again, it is not an overnight fucking thing.
Oh, no.
Oh no, it takes years.
Years
You
to
know,
get,
it takes
and
communication.
yeah.
Communication is such a big one, especially
Huge.
with just
It is.
boundaries in general. Like,
It literally comes down to the 2 C's, communication and consent.
yes,
That's
correct.
it. Like, that is the basis of all boundaries. Communication, consent. And I don't know about y'all, but I really hope that we've reached out to the Phoenix Nation and, like, maybe helped somebody out there that was struggling.
Yeah,
I hope so too, because we really, when we kind of sat back and we're like, what do we want our first thing to be back as?
Yeah.
We kind of sat
Since
like,
the other episode
Exactly.
just got yeeted into the sun.
it pulled a
we were like,
Yeah,
you know,
with Jay Uso. Yeet.
at least we
I love
can
Jay Uso.
do
So
something with those negative experiences that are positive.
Yep.
And
Yes.
you know, it sometimes some of us it takes a while to get involved with therapy or to be able to afford therapy.
Oh, God.
Or
Oh,
to
my
reach
God.
out for help. So
We fully understand the fact that that's not something that's available to everybody.
With
We
or without
do.
insurance.
exactly,
We
it's
get
true.
that. And we're not sitting here trying to be preachy-reachy, but we are sitting here giving you cold, hard facts because that is what we do here at the gate. And honestly, I'm feeling pretty good.
Me too. I think
I'm feeling pretty good. And I'm about to set a boundary. Just kidding. And honestly, guys, I really hope you enjoyed our first episode, as you know, with the 3 permanent voices. I really hope that you guys, you know, whoever is listening, I hope that this reaches you and you're able to, if you weren't able to take that step to get out of a bad way because you don't have the ability to enforce a boundary, or if you are hesitant about, is this a good boundary, is this an unhealthy one, I hope this helped. Honestly.
exactly. And there are people out here that are here to listen, and your support groups are there for you.
And honestly,
Never trust the living.
there are also
Living.
so many resources online nowadays too. Like,
True.
that could, you know, to help you like learn more about boundaries, setting them, maintaining them, what's healthy versus unhealthy. Like,
That's true. Dude, just Google it.
Google is free, my guy.
Google is free. But on that note, closing statement, Lavender.
Hello. But hello.
Hello.
But thank you all for joining us. And I just want to give like a big shout out to Jade. And I just want to say this right now. Like, it meant so much to Scarlett and I to become permanent voices on the gate because we also understand that boundary.
Yep.
We know how important the gate is to Jade. I almost said Gade. The gate is
The
to
gate.
Jade. So, like, honestly, the first, like, we're so grateful to be here. And we also feel so grateful that I feel we've all reached this point in our relationship where, like, we feel comfortable sharing the things that matter to us with others.
Because I made it very clear after the Litty situation, after the Chocobo Butt situation, that I would never, ever have permanent voices on the gate besides mine. I would have guests, I would have people that came on, but nobody would ever be my partner again. And these two helped me overcome that trauma, overcome all that pain and sadness and all the negative feelings that I was having towards, you know, my own creation, because this was traumatic for me. Like, there was a time where I could not pick up the microphone. I couldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. And which is why I was gone for, you know, as long as I was, because I couldn't do it. Every time I went to podcast or I would want to, you know, get back out here and get back on the horse and so to say, I couldn't do it. And I was just like, no, I don't want to do it. I can't. And it would and then I would get depressed and the whole cycle would go over. But thanks to Lavender and Scarlett, they yanked me out of it and they said, bitch, you're too creative for this fucking shit. Let's go.
Just do it.
You're too talented.
Thank you.
You lock yourself up like that.
Exactly.
I love you guys.
I love you too.
Yeah.
Let your fucking fire burn and let everyone see
Our
that shit.
fire.
Our
Hell
fire.
yeah.
That's
Our
right.
fire.
It's ours.
It's ours now. But Scarlett, closing statement?
I mean, again, I'm fucking honored to be to be a permanent voice. Like, I mean, I remember you were like toying with the idea, and I'm like, listen, you want me as a guest? I'll gladly be a guest. Mm-hmm. You want me permanent? I'll gladly be permanent.
That's
Just
true.
Let me know what the deal is, and I'll respect it. Yeah. Which also boundaries tie in.
Hey, I see what you did there.
Yeah. I like to think I'm smart.
You are very.
You
smart.
are very smart.
You are very smart. You're
Thank
just
you.
very good at playing dumb.
I am, but that's,
really are.
that's what makes it.
That's
more
what makes
fun.
it great.
That makes it.
That's
so
what makes it
fun.
so good. But
Yeah, my ADHD brain has also been focusing on this cat. He was literally in the corner earlier, like
Eclipse?
staring. Yeah, he was literally in the corner by the door, like staring at a fucking fly or something, and like
yeah,
going like.
if you don't
like
know,
looking
it's an
around.
absolutely gorgeous day here
Yes.
in New York City. And so, of course, we have every single window and every single door open. And I don't have screens on my windows because we're replacing them. So they're not existent. And of course, the bugs have decided, like the fly has come in, and the cat, they didn't realize the mistake that they made because there are 4 cats in here, and they really do enjoy crunchy bugs.
If anyone hears a soft gasp throughout that podcast, that was just me going like, because the cat did a thing.
It's true. But on that note, Phoenix Nation, it is a absolute pleasure to be back on the air with you guys. I really hope you enjoyed this first episode. You're going to be hearing more from us. We will be at Feast Fest in Long Island on May 11th.
I'm looking forward to that one.
And we will be actually next week, this Saturday coming up, May 4th. May the 4th be with you, Star Wars Day, at Night of 1,000 Stevies at Irving Plaza. Come see me and Lux Hell, your daughter. We'll be there in the Rune Room doing readings. I got goodies for sale. Come see us. You guys don't even understand. The Feinics Gate is going to be fucking everywhere.
Hell yes.
We are. There's no escape. Just give in now. Good luck.
Yes.
But on that note, adios, farewell, and as Vita saying bye.
Laters.
I am the